Good evening and welcome to Mental Health Matters with me, Dr Audrey Tang. My co-host is Judith Crosier, and today we've got a very special show. We are welcoming Andy Pearce. He is the founder of the Pearce Perspective, and we're going to be talking about third sector, charities and how to thrive. Andy, welcome to Mental Health Matters. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show.
It's an honour to be here. You know I love you guys, I love the show. To be sat here... Dream come true.
Oh, do you know what? It's so lovely for me because I've been on your show so many times to talk about mental health, and this is so exciting.
It's so nice. Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Now, I mean, I know you, I love you, I think you're amazing. I think the work you've pioneered for mental health on the radio, then this is BBC Leicester, you've done such an incredible job. You've always created space for mental health conversation, which is so important. But now you have founded your own charity. You are out there pioneering the way for not just mental health, but horticulture and mental health, which is so important. Please share a little bit about your career and how you came to doing the amazing work you do at the Pearce Perspective.
I mean, start at the beginning. I was an entertainer, born entertainer. I was an actor as a kid. Did some TV stuff, and then I became a singer and got a bit of notoriety as a singer. I did a TV show, a BBC One, called All Together Now. That's what got me the radio job. And then whilst I was at BBC Leicester, I suffered the loss. So it was I lost 3 people within 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
2 of them were death by suicide, and it shook me. It made me. Honestly, it wasn't good, and I realised at that point there was a pivoting moment that I realised that I was in a position with a voice that people listen to. So that's when I created the feature on my show, Mental Health Matters, similar to this, the perfect name. Every week I interviewed professionals like yourself, counsellors, therapists, organisational leaders, people with lived experience, to break the taboo around talking about mental health, to be able to signpost to different resources, showcase strategies of coping mechanisms, that sort of thing. And then my role at the BBC came to an end, and I was a bit head scratchy, a bit like, what do I do now? And I didn't want to let go of the mental health because I'd found a real passion for it. So that's when the charity got born, and I was very much up in the air of how to do it, but it all fell into place. It's very universally driven, my whole journey towards it. And I started off with a podcast because that's obviously radio, that's where I knew. And after the first episode of the podcast, I got contacted by a lady called Alison Broughton, who's a psychotherapist, but she also specialises in nature therapy. So we had a meeting, and I explained my vision to her, and she was like, "Can I be part of it? Can we go at this?" Yeah. So Alison came on board, and the charity we're now just over 2 years old. We've got like a wellbeing garden that I'm so proud of. Yeah. It's been created through CSR days, corporate social responsibility days, with many different organisations. One of my biggest strengths has been networking. Has been, shouting from the rooftops of the message that I want to do: advocate, educate, empower, and help people through different resources. So the Wellbeing Garden is a main resource, a main sort of strand of the charity. But we've also got like a schools outreach program, so we do workshops in schools. Oh, wow. We get kids to come to the Wellbeing Garden. We do.
It's lovely.
It's beautiful. It really is, and for them as well to have the understanding of nature, the link of nature to mental health. It's phenomenal, and there's so many justifications of that link. The nurturing side of it, the blossoming, the blooming, the pride of looking at it. We've got a wellbeing retreat space that is in design at the moment. I've also got concept of an international retreat space that's going to be in Cyprus. Wow. So that's further down the line. Yeah. One of my I'm an ideas guy. I love my ideas, and my advisors quite often say to me, just, when are you going to do this? I'm like, no, trust me, it'll happen. Yeah. I want a tropical garden in the Midlands, an indoor tropical garden in the Midlands.
Wow,
so we can house plants from all over the world. So kids can come and see these plants that they may never see in their lifetime. And so that's maybe we'll call it a 5-year goal.
I That's a very fair 5-year goal, though. But
absolutely.
I mean, what you're doing is absolutely brilliant, because I think sometimes when it comes to mental health education, you know, I was a psychology teacher at school, it's a bit dry. It's a bit, you know, oh, learn this theory. But what you're doing is you're taking people out into nature. They're learning patience, they're learning nurture, they're learning letting something grow in its own time. Just little messages like that are so important, and they're working with their hands, they're working with each other. And actually, you have been recognised for this, because you've just won some awards.
Yes.
Tell us about the community awards.
Oh, so it's the second year running. I'm really proud of it. It's celebrating Community Pride Award in our borough. And yeah, it's nice. It's a nice recognition of what we're doing, of how we're growing, and it always helps as well. So you're always networking, you're always meeting people at these events. You know, we've got so much backing from councils, government. We've got our local MP is supporting us wholeheartedly. We're immersed in. Well, I say immersed. We are, let's say, foot deep in the healthcare system at the moment.
Brilliant.
So we're linked with the social link prescribers, local area coordinators, so they're referring people into our workshops, our wellbeing workshops at the garden. So it's a nature connection to wellbeing, so they can learn and grow at the same time as learning to grow, I suppose.
No,
That's fantastic.
It's incredible. And I was going to ask about the community, but I think a better question would be, when you're talking about community, you're not just talking about this school is going to take their class and go into the garden. You are talking about healthcare system, government, organisations, businesses. What can third sectors learn from you about what community actually can entail?
I think it started already with corporate and social responsibility.
Yes.
I've noticed a lot of people coming out of the woodworks to say, can we help? There's still a lot of businesses that don't see the value of CSR. But really what they're doing is giving back. They're being part of a new community.
Yes.
And if they give back to the smaller charities, the smaller organisations, the grassroots organisations, they're part of a new movement, a new wave of mental health advocacy that's out there for everyone. You know, mental health help. I always say it doesn't see age, it doesn't see colour, creed, gender, orientation. Mental health affects everybody, and for companies and businesses and organisations to really get behind the movement of helping and showcasing what is out there and new strategies, new coping mechanisms, especially through CSRs, because they get to come to those places. It's not just, okay, we'll do a fundraiser, we'll all wear silly clothes, we'll all bake a cake, we'll do this. They get to come to these sites and they get to see what they're doing to grow.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and really, really important. There's, such a difference between what you do and what others do, which is
they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's amazing. I love that. And this is something that's really close to my heart. So you also host music festivals, and as you said, you're a singer, or you've been a singer. Why and how have you found music to be good for developing great mental health?
I mean, we all love a sing,
don't
we? And I always say everyone can sing, because it's just choosing the right song. But music, it transcends.
Yeah.
Let's take mental health out of the equation for a second, and we'll talk brain debilitating. We'll talk Alzheimer's or dementia. Music can break that. It's been known. There's a chap who's a swing singer. I think he's in his 80s now, and heavily suffering with Alzheimer's. And his son was taking him to the doctor's appointment. Radio was on, and it was an old Nat King Cole song or an old swing tune, And all of a sudden, his dad came alive again, and he saw his dad. His dad just started singing in the passenger seat of the car.
Wow.
And he went forward with his dad, and they recorded an album, and they've released the album, and they've sold it, and proceeds have gone towards research. So it really shows that music can break down barriers. So in the world of mental health, you know, it can, if you're in fight or flight, music can change how you're feeling and change you to sort of rest mode instead of being in that heightened sense. Music can you know, it's the oxytocins, it's the dopamine that it releases, serotonin. You know, it's all of these things, because I don't know the scientific reason behind it. I believe it's through enjoyment, and you know, your mental load when you're singing. You're only thinking about singing.
Yeah.
You're not thinking of the woes and the stress and the you know, the trauma that you're in. You're just letting it go, and that is the power of music. Yeah. And that's why we as the charity, you know, we did our fundraising event last year, Music for the Mind. We'll be doing it again this year, and it went down a storm. And I think, you know, thanks to my radio days, I had a lot of people say, yeah, we'll come and help you, because they value my mission and they see it. You know, we had 3 bands, 5 soloists. I even snuck in a set myself.
Of course, I mean, you know.
I wasn't going to.
It's the only reason I organised this for me.
You know me so well. But no, it was a phenomenal event, supported by like the councils, the borough councils. Phenomenal turnout. You know, the partnership that we've got with Britvic and Wincanton, they supplied all of the drinks. So it was just such a brilliant event, and music brings people together.
Yeah.
That's community, isn't it? That's what community is. It's
exactly.
incredible.
You've got a little choir, and that's a community in itself. And you know, I really believe in that really strongly. So it's so lovely to hear that that's another branch of what you do. Yeah, it's brilliant.
It is. It's fantastic.
And also, as well as all of that, you have a really fascinating role with Voluntary Action Leicester. Can you tell us a bit about that?
So it's a new role for me, and it's basically, so the role itself is called Health Watch Officer, and it's working with different parts around the Leicestershire, and it's basically being the voice of the people. It's being able to network, being able to meet communities. Like we say, it's all about communities, isn't it? Yeah. Meet the communities, understand what works, understand what doesn't work. Being able to feed that information back into the hierarchy to, I suppose, to affect policy change and be able to structure, help, resources that are going to be there in the borough. But I'm really excited about it, because it twins itself with the charity and with the work that I do already, and it's a new step really for me.
It's fantastic, and it's something that I think you'd be so good for, because it is about listening. You're one of the first people to say we listen to what doesn't work as well, because there's so many people wanting to do great things, and I don't, you know, take that away from anyone who wants to give something to charity. But if you're giving and it's just not the right thing for that particular community,
you need to try something
change your energy, direct it somewhere else. You know, it's about knowing what that community really needs. Oh, we're keeping Andy, and we'll continue this conversation after we've heard some tips from our resident experts.
A mini nervous system reboot you can do anywhere. Most people wait until they're completely overwhelmed before they try to regulate their mind or their emotions. But small resets throughout the day protect you from getting to that point. Here's a 2-minute reset I teach my clients. Step 1, stop what you're doing. 2, take 4 slow, deep breaths. 3, unclench your jaw, really feel it drop. 4, relax your shoulders. 5, look at something far away for like 10 seconds. This widens your visual field and calms your nervous system. And that's it. 2 minutes. This tiny reset reduces cortisol, re-anchors your focus, and gives your brain a quick recovery break, the same way a stretch helps your muscles. So try it between tasks today. Your mind will thank you.
Welcome back to Mental Health Matters After Hours, where we're talking to the lovely Andy Pearce, who is a speaker, motivational speaker, and charity founder. It's a lovely conversation. So heritage can be something that affects our mental health. Why do you think that might be?
I suppose learning who you are, learning where you've come from, because, you know, culture, heritage, it plays a part in who you are. No matter, so if you don't know who you are, if you don't understand your background or your sort of ethos or your cultures, it can be difficult not to, you feel alienated. You feel maybe that you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, or you don't fit in, or you should be doing this to fit in. Or whereas, you know, understanding your heritage helps you understand you.
Because that just really is, whilst you were talking about the tropical garden that you've got this plan for, it just reminded me of, I would love to see plants that we can't grow here. Because otherwise, you know, I go back to Malaysia to eat the fruit. I go back to Malaysia, you know, to see the greenery. To have it here would just reconnect people as well.
You can immerse yourself a little bit in your culture here rather than having to go there.
So I think that's just such a lovely thing that you're doing with the tropical garden. That just really made me smile.
Yeah, it sounds lovely, and it makes sense as well what you say. You kind of maybe feel grounded if you know where you come from and something about where you are. I love that. Thank you. And how do you find that your charity work and your directorship kind of intersect?
It's networking, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's true. For myself, like, I've grown the charity because I have a passion for helping people, but you know, being a director and you know, a CEO of the charity, it's all about meeting people and explaining the vision. And, you know, explaining it in such a way that people understand, because, you know, one person might hear it one way, but if, I talk about maybe a different strand of the charity and how that can help, that could appeal to somebody else differently. Yeah. So it's about meeting people, it's about understanding people, and just being open, I suppose, open and transparent and genuine. Yeah.
That brings me nicely on to my next question, because I think we don't really understand much about third sector work in general. You know, when I was at school, you did a sponsored run and you raised money, and that was kind of it. That was your only connection with the third sector. But to have, it's a job, and it's a wonderful job to be part of. And so, relating to that, you're so active with the Pearce Perspective in actually going out there, getting communities involved. When it comes to, say, mental health charities or mental health policies even, what do you see is still lacking?
Openness. Openness. I mean, you speak to anybody that's had mental ill health, probably one of the main things they'll say to you is time. It took me ages to speak to somebody. It took me ages to get my diagnosis or my journey started of understanding. More organisations like ours, what I've done, need to be, it's the grassroots organisations, they need to be championed. They need to be lifted up to show that it's not just going to your doctor and getting pills. There are so many different ways of getting help. And those ways need to be showcased. Those ways need to be talked about more. The whole mental health taboo needs to be talked about more, because it's still, you know, I always say about America are, you know, they might be behind us in some ways, but they are leaps and bounds ahead of us in mental health understanding. You know, you speak to an American person and 9 times out of 10, 9.99%, they're going to have a counsellor or a therapist, because they understand talking. They understand that there is no stigma there. There is no issue about talking and opening up to somebody about your problems, because it's the old proverb, you know, a problem shared is a problem halved, and it really is. You talk about a problem, it helps you in your mind, it helps you paint the picture of what's going on. It shows you the overview of the angle, it gives you a different perspective.
I think it's funny, when you said America, I went back to, you know, childhood, and when you talk about American TV and things like that, it used to be a joke that Americans all had therapists, and I remember it was seen as a bad thing, and of course it's really not. The fact is, to have a therapist, you understand there's something you want to work through, and there's no shame in it at all, and that means in the UK we will have had a stigma, because I know I've felt that when I've heard other people talk about therapy. And now we need to rework that. We need to change that. One of the problems, though, that I see in the UK now is this therapizing kind of approach, where people are doing therapy in spaces where therapy should not be done. And I think that's a counter issue that we have. I'm all for schools and workplaces having people to signpost to and having day-to-day interventions. But when a teacher or a manager thinks they're a therapist, I think you've got real problems.
Know your barriers. Know where you are. Know what your wheelhouse is.
Exactly. And we've had really good conversations on this show as well with therapists who we've talked about, say, music therapy and drama therapy and hypnotherapy even. And it's like, it's therapy using the medium of. And that's the big distinction. So, you know, I think you're absolutely right. I just worry about where we're sitting with it in the UK right now, which is why it's so good that you're doing the work that you do. So on that, are there any simple things that we can do ourselves just to boost our mental health, or just keep cortisol at bay, or the bad cortisol at bay?
I mean, nature.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Not just horticulture, but I mean, I'll give you a horticulture example as well, but nature. Get out. Get out in nature. Walk somewhere. You don't have to walk far. You know, when I talk to people and say get out and about, I'm not talking about going on a 5-mile hike. Do you know what I mean? You could go for a 10-minute walk.
Around the block.
You know what I mean? But just it's about being present in the moment. So you take yourself away from your screen, away from whatever it is that you're immersing yourself into. Be present in the moment. Listen to the birds. Feel the wind. Feel the sun. Okay, there's not that much over here, but, you know, feel it on your skin, because that's the only way that you're really present in the moment. And getting out and about in nature, especially, you know, if you've got a woodland nearby, or a common, or some grassy area, you know, you can. It makes you feel so different. People say to me when they come to the Wellbeing Garden, because our flagship Wellbeing Garden, which is in Burbage, it's in the middle of an allotment unit. So people say to me, so it's gated access to the allotment unit, and as soon as you come through the gate, close the gate and lock it, you take 2 steps and you see shoulders relax.
Oh, wow.
Because you're just in this, I mean, you're surrounded by horticulture, you're surrounded by cultivation across the board. It's wonderful, the allotment where we are. But once they get into the Wellbeing Garden, there's the only sounds that you hear is nature. You know, there's no traffic noise. There's amazing. It's beautiful. It really, really is. And horticulture-wise, anyone can do this. So, you know, a box of chocolates, let's say. You get your normal brands, your Quality Treats, your Roses, you know, the plastic tubs. Bit of compost in there. Get yourself a little packet of peas. Okay, it's really easy to do, because you don't need a garden for this. So everyone says, you know, oh, I'd love to garden, but I haven't got a garden. Doesn't matter. You know, even if you've got a windowsill, that is all you need. Get yourself one of these tubs, bit of compost in, just poke a little hole, and pop your peas in, just lightly cover them and water them. Okay, that's it. All you need to do, every couple of days, give them a water. Within about a week, you'll see results. And as soon as you see those results, it releases something within you, because
it's true.
It is. It's the nurturing side of it. It's the pride of you have grown.
It's true.
And then especially with peas, you know, wait until they get about a finger length, snip them all off, stick them on your salad. There's
Yeah.
your pea shoots, and they'll grow again, and
Yeah.
they'll grow again.
Wow.
It's plant to plate, and
Yeah.
there's something really beautiful about that. Because I remember when we used to grow cress,
Yes.
you know,
I loved that.
It was just great on a piece of blotting paper.
Yeah.
But it was so exciting to see
Yeah.
it, and then to eat it,
and it
was
always
really
tasted
special.
yummy.
Yes,
Really, yeah.
It always tastes better if you grow it yourself.
Yes,
Always.
yes.
Yeah.
No, I love that because
Yeah.
I think the other thing that you mentioned about going out and just feeling the weather, for example, I think we get, especially as adults, we get very caught in our heads and we try and think ourselves healthy. And just resetting and feeling the breeze or feeling whatever you're feeling connects you with your body again, which is a bit of a disconnect. I know a lot of guests have said that as well, but we need to reconnect and we need to go forward holistically as people, because I think that's the only way we're going to thrive, actually.
Yeah.
Andy, we're keeping you, and we will be back just after these tips from our resident experts.
The emotional regulation hack your brain already knows how to do. You know when you have that moment where something triggers you and before you even have time to think, you've reacted. Maybe you said something sharp, maybe you shut down, maybe you spiraled internally. It feels automatic. And in many ways, it is. Here's the science behind it. When an emotion hits, your brain releases a biochemical surge that lasts about 90 seconds. That means the intensity you feel, the heat, the pressure, the adrenaline, is actually your nervous system ringing out a wave. If during those 90 seconds you don't add more thoughts to the emotion, no catastrophizing, no assumptions, the wave naturally settles. So here's a practical tool. Next time something triggers you, pause, breathe deeply. Don't react. Just let the wave pass. After those 90 seconds, your brain comes back online. You're calmer, clearer, and more capable of responding instead of reacting. This is not suppression, this is emotional self-regulation. It's one of the best ways to protect your relationships, your choices, and your well-being. Try it today. Just one 90-second pause can change the whole direction of a conversation or a whole day.
Welcome back to Mental Health Matters After Hours. Welcome back, Andy, where we're having a lovely discussion about spider plants.
Yes, yes.
And all things mental health. That does relate to mental health.
Yeah.
And quality street tins as well. I love that. So what are your plans for the peers perspective?
That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that
TPP.
So the idea is to basically to help as many people as I can. With the Wellbeing Gardens, I want a Wellbeing Garden in every county across the UK.
Lovely.
I want to twin that with our Wellbeing Retreat sites. So we've got our first Wellbeing Retreat site in the village next to Burbage. It's in design at the moment in Aston Flanville. And that's going to be like a beautiful shepherd's hut for us to be able to do guided meditations, clinical therapy as well. And we've got a fire pit to do fire therapy. We're going to have like an allotment area as well to grow stuff on that site. But yeah, the Wellbeing Gardens, I'd love one in every county across the UK. I also want to grow the retreat sites, and I want to be able to house an international retreat space. Which I'm in talks at the moment. We're taking it over to Cyprus. So that's going to be for sort of CEOs, C-suite executives, directors. With the goal of that is going to be really to bolster resilience, help with workflow process, and avoid burnout. And I know you know a lot about burnout avoidance. You'll probably be one of our speakers if I'm honest with you. So the plan is, a lot of sort of yoga by the sea. We'll have a business mentor there to be able to talk through workflow processes, and I'm going to link that with a large UK retreat space as well. Obviously, the tropical garden is on the wish list. That will just be a space for kids and people of all ages to go to and see horticulture, flora and fauna that they may never get a chance to see in their lives. One of my big projects for the charity, which was actually one of the first projects that I ever came up with, is creating a full-blown mental health educational plan. Now, the concept has moved forward from just a concept. It's now in sort of budgeting and understanding it. But the idea of this is that it's a three-staged approach. It starts at early years, so it starts in the nurseries, in those spaces where young kids are, and it's linked with a persona doll. So there'll be a persona doll, nature stories, early terminology of mental health, but linked into age-appropriate content. Then the persona doll will go into stage 2, which is key stage 1 to 2. The persona doll will then change to an animated character. And these kids will then, because obviously they've created an affinity with this doll. That's the goal, a comfort and a twinning, a knowledge of this doll. Then it'll change to this animated character, and then again, age-appropriate mental health advocacy and strategy, coping mechanism awareness for these kids. Bite-sized little videos, but the more it's repetition, isn't it? The more we hear about things, the more we start to think about them. The more we think about them, the more we understand them. The more we understand them, the more we do about them. Then from stage 2, it'll work into stage 3, phase 3, which will be key stage 3 onwards. And the animated character will turn to a real life person. And then I will be able to sort of disseminate the mental health knowledge, understanding, resources, coping mechanisms, how to signpost from key stage 3 onwards, right the way through the rest of their educational journey. Now, the goal of that is to have 95% of school leavers leaving school with the skills and the abilities of mental health first aiders. Imagine a generation of a whole generation leaving school with those skills and those abilities going off into the world.
And you're talking really about having the language to talk about these feelings and not having the repression, and you're also not talking about teachers having to learn another skill, which is where I worry about the danger coming in. But I think this process is a very well managed process to bring in mental health education.
Yeah, that's the idea. Make it easy. It'll be it'll slot nicely into the curriculum, and it'll just give the generations that come that understanding before, I won't talk about the schooling system because
we're all ex-teachers, we understand it.
Exactly. It was made for a time that has passed, and the schooling system now should be more student-led, should be more understanding, instead of trying to impart pi to 13 digits. I don't need to know that. But the understanding of mental health, that's what I could have done with when I left school. Understanding that because then that could have stopped me from feeling the way I felt when I hit at the hole. And just trying to get it out there and get as much help to as many people as possible. That's all I really want to do. And bees as well. That's something else that's coming next year. I want to do like beekeeping therapy, beekeeping techniques. Obviously, there'll be another side of that is to try and create a revenue for the charity. To try and create make the charity sustainable. Because I don't want my charity to be a handout. I don't want it to just be there going, can you give me some more money to help more people? I want to grow it to be self-sustaining and for it to then fund itself. And it'll just be a perpetual motion then of helping people and being able to keep going.
Which is brilliant. No, I think that's really, really lovely. And I think that's where a lot of third sector needs to change their approach, because no one has money anymore. Even if they wanted to give money, it's really, really difficult. So if you're doing something and you're giving people something back in return, at least that feels more like an exchange. If you have got a stream of income that's doing a good job, that's even better. You know, so it's brilliant. And
brilliant plans as well. I love all of those. It's like thinking about the education, it's sort of normalising everything to do with, good mental health and talking about it. I really like that. Rather than kind of leaving school and then all of a sudden being expected to then being okay with talking about it. We're not.
Because we're not brought up with it.
Exactly. So it's brilliant plan. Thank you. So going back to horticulture and gardening, it's really evident how that can really help with good mental health. But what if people don't have green fingers, and they can't grow anything, even a spider plant or even a cactus, which is supposed to be very easy. What are some small things that we can do to help ourselves instead of gardening?
I mean, I'd always say give it a go. Like the pea shoots. It's easy. It's simple. I mean, and even if the good thing, somebody taught me once, it was my content guy, we were mentioning in the break, a guy called Nick Turrell. He now works for RHS Wisley. He's a phenomenal content creator for them now. But he taught me something to do with gardening, and it was about acceptance, about understanding that not every seed will grow, but all you can do is try. And that's all you need to do. You just need to try, be present, and just have a go, because without having a go, you'll never know.
It's true. And also, even if you can't grow something, then just being amongst it and being with people who can, maybe that's just as good.
Well, with the Wellbeing Garden, we don't, when people come to us, they don't have to sow the seeds. They don't have to do the weeding or they can just come and just be in the garden, sit on the bench, sit by the fire pit, or they can make a brew in the workshop, or just walk around the polytunnel. They don't have to do stuff, but just surrounding yourself with it. It's the smells, it's the textures. It's our entranceway. We've got lawn chamomile, creeping thyme, and phlox. So like the lawn chamomile, you walk on it, it releases fragrances like a very subtle pineapple-y fragrance, and it just having those extra smells and textures, it really helps our sort of sensory element to just feel at ease. And if you do delve into the gardening side of it, fingers in the soil, it's it's known there are chemicals in the soil that go into your skin and they help release oxytocins within the body.
Really?
Yeah, it's not just the act of doing the gardening. It's I suppose Mother Nature.
It's like the sea as well. It's got minerals that release. It's really interesting. And talking about the smells and the retreat, I do an educational retreat. I do this for somebody else. And they have a fireside chat by a fireside, and it's just beautiful. It really makes a difference, because it was the first time when I did it 2 years ago. I was like, this is a real fireside chat. This is not just 2 chairs and a table, It was absolutely brilliant. It was by a fire pit, absolutely beautiful. You could smell, it was just relaxing. It was lovely. You could see the sunset.
Feel the heat.
Yes.
It's exactly that. And linked to what you just said about the sea as well, fire and water are nature's elements. Okay, so you look at a fire, it can be extremely peaceful. You're seeing the flames lick around. And with water, I was recently in Cyprus, and I was stood on the beach in Ayia Napa, and I was looking out, and I had a bit of an epiphany, and I said to my wife at the time, I said, I think that's why the pace of life is so different abroad in Mediterranean countries, because when you just stand and you just hear the water and you look out, I noticed the way the sun hit the water and the way it rippled across, and it's kind of like watching white noise, seeing all of the little glistens off the water, and it really grounded me in that moment, and I don't think I'll ever forget that moment, because I just felt so relaxed and so at peace. It was beautiful, and being near water, you don't have to be in it, because I wasn't in it. I was just there, and I was just listening and just taking it in, and it was just a wonderful feeling.
That's incredible. And I think with bringing nature into, especially inner city places when there isn't so much. I was reading Lee Kuan Yew, the founder of Singapore, his biography, and the one thing that he really honed in on to make Singapore stand out was to green it. And then he said, actually, this is the one aspect that when he started getting competition from Malaysia and Thailand and Indonesia and everyone, he said, I don't care. If you're all greening spaces, we're going to have nicer spaces for all of us. And so on that, what do you hope to see in the UK, especially in inner city places?
Living walls.
Yes.
Something like that. So people will be in an office and they'll, I've not got any space to do anything. Yeah. But you've got walls.
Yes.
So create a living wall. Moss. A lot of people get rid of moss. Moss is one of the biggest CO2 catchers that we have on the planet. Moss and peat. They're luckily we're keeping the peat now. But moss, I think people still need to break the stigma around that. And controlled and having them in an environment, they can really help. And just being part of an office, I can't remember where I was. I think I was in London. And they had a living wall, and it was through a whole sort of guttering filtration system that circulated back on itself. And I don't think it would have been that expensive to buy, but for those people in that office, it changed the vibe. And there wasn't necessarily colour on it. I mean, I suppose throughout different times of the year, they'll probably put different things in. But just to have that greenery indoors and the way it looked, it was wonderful. And that's what I'd say to big businesses, big corporations. Think about that, because that alone will help, the climate change as well. It'll help your air quality within your offices. Better air quality means better workers, more peaceful, a better ethos, a better feeling, a better vibe in the workplace. And just even a simple hydroponic system on a wall, you can grow so much. It's true. Even if they're not growing stuff to eat it, look at it. Take it in, because that business, that organisation then is bringing back life. And putting that life back into the business.
It's just incredible, and not that hard. You're absolutely right. There are walls. If nothing else, in a concrete jungle, there are walls.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Andy, where can we get hold of you and learn more about you and find out more about the Pierce Perspective?
So we're across all socials. It is just the Pierce Perspective. You can check us out on our website, which is then again it's thepierceperspective.com. If you want to email us, it's info@thepierceperspective.com. On the website, we've got a lot of information about our schools outreach programs that we do, our wellbeing gardens, our wellbeing retreats. The mental health educational plan, I think it touches on it, but because that is so big, I've not broken it down on the website yet. I want to get everything in place before we then really push it onto the website. But for businesses that want to reach out and participate in this corporate and social responsibilities, all I'd say is drop me an email. Drop us an email. We can have a chat, because there will be a site that you can come and visit, spend a day. Yesterday, for instance, at the Wellbeing Garden, I had the wonderful people from the school playground company. The owner came down, Chris, and he brought a team of, I think there were 4 of them there, and they were in their element. As soon as they walked in, they were smiling. They were like, look at this place. So Chris has been a supporter of the charity since we started. And I hadn't realised that he hadn't been to the site since early days, really. And his face, he looked like a kid in a sweet shop. It was just like, looking at it, he couldn't believe it, because when he first came, none of it was there. It was just an old, abandoned, disused polytunnel. That's another reason of what I'm doing. You know, regeneration, find these spaces and bring it back.
Yes.
And yeah, for him, he was just like, this was nothing. Like, there was a shed there. There was a jungle over there. And I was like, yeah, and look at it now. We've got a beautiful wooden workshop. We've got a beautiful polycarbonate polytunnel. We've got stunning planting space out the front with their cold frame. We've got our own water catchment system, so we don't need to rely on the allotments. We've just, yesterday, they put the solar panel on the roof for us. So I've been dealing with our portable solar panels, taking them in, putting them out, taking them in, putting them out. And luckily we got donated an industrial sized solar panel, but I hadn't had a chance to get it up yet. And the guys, as they were working, so, you know, yesterday they built a corner unit to house all of our sort of long tools. They built a smaller unit to house all like the spades, the forks, the half moons. They built a corner planter that sits outside now in between our two benches. And it was one of the fellas there. He was like, so what do you want me to do now? I was like, well, can you just check that door for me? He's like, okay, so he checked that. He's like, oh, it works perfect now. Okay, brilliant. What do you want me to do now? I was like, how do you feel about going up on the roof? I was like, yeah, why? I said, I've got this solar panel. He's like, say no more. And that was it. He was up on the roof, measured, done. And so we've got the solar panel in now. And that's the other thing about the site as well. The whole site's been built on solar power. So it's been all sustainable energy that has been used to build the site. And that's my goal, is to grow like that. Always, you know, be sustainable and utilise the elements that we have. Water catchment is a big part of it. And yes, solar power.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. Could listen to you all day and I can't wait to go and see all of this happening over the next few years, because I know it will happen. But we now need to go over to Test the Trend. So for Test the Trend today, we're going to set you a challenge. Do one thing for your mental well-being. One active thing that you can go out there, not just think about it, just go out there and do it. And to give you some tips and ideas, I'm going to ask our guests here, and Judith as well, to tell us what they've done for their mental health that's made the biggest impact. So we've already heard about the P's. So Andy, what's one thing?
I mean, growing anything will help you. Growing anything will help you. And even if you go to the shops and look at the end of season, what is on offer, get whatever's cheapest, plant it out and just grow it, because it'll really help you. There's that, or there's just going out for that walk. Get yourself out there in nature. It doesn't have to be long, but just be present in that moment.
Definitely, I love that. Oh, Jude?
Well, funnily enough, I was thinking about two. So one was, I always say this, don't I, going out for a walk in nature with my dog. That always does it for me. But the other thing then, which I will mention, is singing. And so it was something that I'm really interested in. So singing, which, that has featured a large part of my life recently, and especially singing with a choir, is just one of the best things ever. And you hear all the harmonies and everyone comes together, and it's just fantastic, I think. So
because singing with a group as well releases different chemicals than singing on your own.
Yes, it does.
So
and they're both beneficial in different ways. So I've done both. So it's brilliant.
So mine's very similar. It's dancing. So one of the best things that I did was, when I was looking to continue professional development, I trained as a burlesque instructor. For no other reason other than I was looking for something really interesting to do. And I thought, well, I was an aerobics instructor years ago. That was my very first teaching job, was aerobics instruction. And so I thought, let's try this. I love dancing. And for me, that is the one thing that I never realised it would have so much of an impact, because every Wednesday I look forward to going to teach, to dance with the class, to just release any of that energy. And I know that I come back feeling better no matter what. It's just, it's just lovely. And it's the same thing with the dancing with a group, dancing on your own. There is a difference. It's all the chemicals that are released. But I was reading recently with Alzheimer's, dancing, it continually works all of the different muscles as you're coordinating, as you're learning choreography, as you're learning timing, more so than something just running where you're just using the same muscles again and again and again. So it does help sort of stave off Alzheimer's and dementia a little bit better than activity, but repetitive activity.
That's so
which is
interesting.
Still good, but
I mean, because choreography, it's a hard thing. I mean, you dream it up. You choreograph dances, which I find just I wouldn't be able to do that for £1 million. But following choreography, it takes so much mental effort
it's
and
true.
Focus. Yeah, it's incredible.
No, so definitely, I think we've got some really good ideas there. So it's like join a dance class, join a choir, plant something, grow something, or just go out for a walk. Any of those, especially the walk. That is simple, and we're not telling you to go on a 5-mile hike. We are just saying walk around the block. So that is your challenge this week. We've reached the last part of the show. This has just been so lovely.
Do I have to go?
I know. Well, you need to come back.
Yes,
you need to come back when you've got the tropical garden and all. Because I fully expect all of these things will happen. They will, because you're so driven, and it's not even about the achievement. It's just the passion that goes into that.
It's my want to help. It really is. I don't think I even mentioned, in 2026, we're starting our men's mental health as well.
Brilliant.
So we're going to be doing men's Wellbeing Wednesdays. So an evening, it's going to be more of a support group, just a couple of hours of a Wednesday evening to get together. I'm going to let the group decide the journey of how they go, about what they learn. I'll give them some suggestions, but I'm going to let it be their journey, and that's something else that is really I'm really passionate about. And obviously bereavement therapy as well, because Alison, our psychotherapist, she's a big advocate for bereavement and grief counselling, so we're going to really start to help people in bereavement and work through grief and things like that as well. So there's just so much coming. I'm so excited.
Brilliant. And I just think it's so important to have some male spaces. We don't have enough of them, and as much as I know I've banged on about this, it's great that the Scouts have girls, etc., etc. But I think boys need a space to be boys.
Boys and men need their own space.
They need their own space. It's not fair to have girls in a boys' space when boys need to learn to course correct on their own. They need to learn boy stuff in a boy way.
Around girls as well.
And I think that they can't relax sometimes when there's girls there. They can't be themselves.
That's it. So we have female spaces. I'm not trying to take away from female spaces or say that girls can't do this, that, and the other, but there's nothing wrong with having a space for men, a space for boys, a space for women, and so on. You know, we just need that. So, good on you. I'm really happy to hear that. That's brilliant. But, I mean, today, there's just been so much. I am inspired now to try and plant some peas.
Please do it.
in a sweet box. I will, how wrong can this go?
You've got it, honestly. You've got it. You'll nail it. And
now.
That's that first salad, when you cut them off and throw them, you'll enjoy it.
Because I did love the cress. So that's really resonated with me, that it can be so simple, because I think we get it in our heads that we've got to be creating orchids and things. So that's my what have you taken from?
Well, apart from your huge amount of energy and passion that you mentioned, that's come across like the whole show.
Beautiful.
Which is inspiring, I have to say. I think it's the same. It's the little things. Just do something little, and I agree. I grew some flowers last year, and the joy when they come through and you see the little shoots was amazing. It's sort of out of proportion with what I'd actually done. So I think to have something edible and do that, replicate that with something edible is even better. So I'm going to try that too.
And then your point about community being a much broader concept than we realise, because I think you do need support from the local government, the council and things like that, because we are talking about changing environments, and whilst some things can be pushed through perhaps with grumbling council, if everyone's on board together and you've galvanised the whole community, it will absolutely blossom. And that's a big lesson, I think, that we can all learn in the third sector. It's not just about the little project, it's about how far that goes. So, no, thank you so much, Andy. It's just been such a pleasure. Please come back.
I will. I'll be banging on that door.
Excellent. Now, what would be a lovely tip that we can leave our audience and our viewers to go away with and do this week?
Okay, I will give you, because I've given you a lot already.
Yes.
But let's take it away from the horticulture and let's just talk breathing. Let's just, wherever you are, once you finish this, turn things off and just be. Just, you can close your eyes so you're not distracted by anything that's around you, and just take, even if it's 30 seconds, and just breathe. Just feel parts of your body, like your feet, your toes. Just sit and just breathe in and breathe out, and it'll just help ground yourself, okay? And you can do that whenever you're feeling stressed, whenever you're feeling concerned, whenever you've got those external worries or concerns. Remember that you're always allowed to take a moment for yourself.
Beautiful. And on that note, have a good night.